I'm Phil Easley. Tanacastro is on vacation this week. Welcome to Skyline Illustrated. Last year, the Department of Agriculture surveyed school children in the Richmond area. The children were asked where they thought milk came from. The overwhelming answer was the grocery store. Our first story demonstrates, like that study, how far removed we are from the source of our basic needs. The story is about fiber. It's a story that starts with a sheep and ends with a sweater. Here now are the Spinsters.
On a sunny afternoon, we were invited to Cheryl Gearhart's farm in Parnassus to attend the monthly meeting of a group of spinners. What we didn't know was that despite the fact that the group spins yarn, they don't call themselves spinners.
We've always called ourselves spinsters. And that comes from the old word. A spinster means a woman who spins. And in the old days, the single women who stayed in the family got the job of spinning. So the word evolved into an old maid or a spinster. And but we're all spinsters because we spin.
Priscilla was among the women who formed this group back in the 70s, and she says the ladies spinning today are some of the diehards who have stuck with the group through the years. In attendance, Marika, Elsie, Iris, Priscilla, Julie, Nancy, Eleanor, Linda, and our host, Cheryl.
We eat, we talk, we spin, and that's pretty much the agenda. And I think that's what I like about the group, because we don't have a program, we don't have a president, we don't have committees, we don't have a budget, none of that stuff. It's just real relaxing, and I think there's something special about women that are spinners. We just really connect with each other instantly. There's 2 new members in our group now, and they don't seem like new members after the first 15 minutes. We feel like they've always been around.
He says, he said, what horsepower is it? And she says, 7.5. 7.5.
It's a lot like a support group, too, because there are some times when my life is really busy and really hectic, and I have the Spinsters meeting, and it may be at Priscilla's, which is an hour drive. And whatever I'm doing, I drop it and I go to the Spinsters meeting because I want to see my friends. I sometimes just need to be with them.
We talk about different problems that one person might have. One woman had been told she was going to send her fleece up to be processed at a woolen mill, and they told her, oh, just throw it in the washing machine. And she did, and she had this thing. And what on earth am I going to do with it, you know? And I said, well, let's have a look at it. And so I said, everybody take a piece of this thing and let's start pulling it apart. Well, by the end of the evening, we had a big pile of fluff, and the thing had been salvaged.
There is no schedule to be met, no minutes to be taken. Each member comes to a meeting with whatever project they're working on. That could be a rag doll, a sweater, a quilting project, and of course, spinning yarn.
Most of us, I would imagine, spin some every day. But this is an old tradition, the spinning bee. You will see there were actually spinning wheels that were called the traveler because they could travel in the front seat of a buggy. Well, they can also travel in the front seat of a bug.
For Marika, learning how to spin was a natural extension from her interest in knitting.
People have asked me, hey, don't you know machines can do this? Or, you know, funny things like that. I say if you want perfect yarn, go to a yarn store. But no, it's just, we enjoy doing it. We don't do it consciously to preserve the craft, even though it's well worth preserving. Today, when you go to a yarn shop, buy yarn for a good sweater, it easily costs you $80 or $100. So obviously, when we can get our fleece for anywhere from $1.50 to $6 a pound, you know, big savings, big savings. And it's fun to do something totally by yourself.
The process of spinning yarn always starts with the hair of an animal, usually the fleecy coats of sheep. Sheep are sheared in the spring, and by the next fall they grow new, thick winter coats. Next, we're told the fleece should be washed. A few soakings in some mild soap is best, then the fleece is laid out to dry. Now, depending on your preference, you can begin to spin the wool after cleaning. Or you can put it through a combing process, also called carding. This softens the fibers to make the wool fluffier. Now your wool is ready to be spun. A wheel like this should help you out. And after filling up your bobbins, your yarn is ready for whatever project you have waiting.
The majority of people do it for their own pleasure. It's like, you know, some people play volleyball, some people spin. You know, it's a sport. It's a recreation at this point, because we don't have to do it, obviously. I mean, we don't have to do it in order to have clothing. But, of course, you can get gorgeous clothes.
Priscilla says the draw to spinning is rooted in a back-to-basics philosophy.
People don't get to touch things as much, or they don't have as much mechanical thing to do. It appeals to people to know how to go back to the source of things. We've noticed that a lot. And just to be able to make something themselves, create something from nothing, is very appealing.
It's very relaxing, and it's a nice feeling to, you know, to have control over wool and turn it into a finished product.
It's therapeutic to wind down at the end of a frustrating day, just to sit at the wheel for an hour and just, you know, think quiet thoughts and let the day come to a happy end.